call a meeting to order, 6:02. So if we could just go around and introduce ourselves for the benefit of the viewing audience.
Wayne Burgett.
John Fatula.
Where do you live in town?
I live
background.
I live up on Asbury Lane, at
Okay.
the Bridge Association. Been there about 5 years. Retired.
What did you do?
I was mold maker machinist for 44 years.
A what maker?
Mold maker?
Oh, okay, yeah, whereabouts?
Different places in Massachusetts and New Hampshire.
Yep. Nice.
It was time to retire.
Yep.
No stress now.
Just not enough fishing time, right?
There's always fishing time.
Priorities.
And John Fatula, I live on Milton Mills Road. I've been in Acton since about 2016. My wife grew up here, and we moved back to her original town.
Nice.
Steve Bodkin, town forester, lived down on the Gauding Road, been here since '98.
Mike Benjamin, live on Peacock Road, on Wilson Lake. Full-time since 2019, summers since 1960 or so.
Wow.
That's
Tenured.
good. Tenured, yeah. So, because Sherry has resigned, we're in the need of a secretary. So I'll entertain any nominations.
I'm happy to take the minutes tonight or something for you if you like. I do not want to be the secretary.
I don't think you can.
I don't think that's good.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
and John, Wayne, I wouldn't expect you to.
I would not be a good secretary.
Okay. So we'll see if Kelly is willing. But if you don't mind taking notes.
Yep.
So I'll just, in the notes, the minutes, I will just say there was no nominations. So John, if you get sworn in Thursday, maybe you'll be secretary in September. Anyway, Kelly has been secretary before. And, she's pretty busy at her job, so as probably we all know.
Was she the RN, the nurse?
Yes.
Okay.
So we can look at the minutes of the June 4th meeting. And I'll close it on pass now. Did you get a chance to read those, Steve and John?
No, let me go over real quick here.
Were you there? I'm sorry, John, were you there at that meeting? No, you missed that meeting, right? The June 14th, the June 4th meeting?
I believe I was there.
No, I think you, yeah, I think
Yeah, I
you're
think that was the first time I showed up. Then we didn't meet the following month, and then here we are.
Okay, let me amend the minutes to include your name. Sorry about that.
No, not at all.
Kelly called me up about a week ago and said she had it in her computer, the computer died. So I just went from the little bit of notes I took, so.
You did pretty well.
Anything else that should be amended, changed?
I don't know if this is worthy of an amendment, but since we already have one, I'll go ahead and throw it out there. The Jones Farm actually has 3 separate parcels, not just one that's on the Hebo-Hybo property.
Oh, okay.
So there's plus or minus near to 600 acres or so between all 3 of the lots.
So can we just say the Jones farm lot?
That would be fine by me.
Okay. again, I was just going by.
Yep. And again, they talk specifically about the Hebo-Hibo one, so I understand that one is being noted, but
Yep.
the Jones Farm is 3 separate properties, including a working farm,
Okay,
and all 3 are easy.
okay,
Yep.
thank you. Anything else?
I'm good.
All right.
I guess that means I need to make a motion to accept the minutes as amended? Is that a correct procedure?
Yep.
Mr. Mann? Excuse me, not Mr. Mann,
I'll second it.
All in favor then?
All in favor, I guess. 3-0. Good. Thank you. That was amended, right?
Yep.
So the chair report, I told you that Sherry resigned last week. And just to remind you that there is a field trip to the Hebo lot, Steve,
Yes, thank you.
which will be led by Steve.
Without having my calendar, remind me of what day of the week the 13th is? This Tuesday.
Tuesday.
With the rain date of the 15th, which will be for...
Tuesday.
Where is that located?
There's a road that goes back in several miles across from the elementary school. So it's way back in there.
So do we meet
So we
you at
would
the
probably meet at
elementary?
either there or right across the street at the end of the road, or whatever, but
Do you know where that is?
No, I haven't been down there, but I should be able to find it.
you'll be able to find the school easy enough, yeah.
Okay.
There's a little, probably the easiest thing to do since it's the summer. On the very left-hand side of the school, as you look at it from the road, is where the buses typically tend to park, and there's usually a lot of people that park there if they're four-wheeling or whatever,
Yeah.
down the Hebo-Hibo Road. So the easiest place to be, particularly in the summer, if we have more than one vehicle and we're joining into a particular vehicle or two, would be there.
Yeah.
So let's just meet at the school parking lot around where the buses
Okay.
meet.
Okay.
Are you coming on that one too?
Yeah.
Now that you've got your background on the one lot, we need to double down for you and get you,
Yeah, no, I really appreciated the last one, so I'd definitely be excited to attend that one. And dating time works great for me.
Good.
excellent.
So, I'm going to skip to old business B, because I don't know how long the road thing's going to, the ordinance is going to take. We can put information on the town website under our own tab. So I was thinking we'd put the committee goals and the mission statement on there, and then the current members of the committee. And how would you feel about, what information would you like besides your name? You want your email address, phone number, social security number, date of birth?
That's right.
Checking account, routing number,
Yeah, right. So,
I guess phone number's fine.
okay, I don't have that. So, name and phone number then?
Yeah.
Okay. What is that, Wayne?
603-404-0501.
Okay. John?
I have no objection to that either, my name and phone number.
I have that. Steve?
Any of it's fine. Do you want the email as well? I mean, you are gonna, his phone number right now? You have that as well too, but I can read it.
I'll just put Joe's name on it and Kelly's name on it until we,
Yeah.
And are you listed as the liaison, or is that something that shouldn't probably go since it changes yearly?
I'm not listed as liaison, but I mean, we always do a report during select board meetings, so I think people know.
Okay.
But yeah, it should be more of you folks on that particular page. I already have my information on the select board page.
Yeah, that's true. Wonderful. All right. So just as a little background, about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, there was discussion on the committee to have an ordinance as part of the town's list of ordinances. And we discussed what should be in the ordinance, and it was decided by the committee that the committee would have no regulatory power at all. No enforcement powers, we're just an advisory board to the Board of Selectmen. So with that in mind, we started to develop an ordinance. And the thought was to use the road committee ordinance as a blueprint to write ours. Hopefully it would save the lawyer some time, the board some time when they review ours. So, we're not, and we weren't going to start from scratch and go from there. So we've started the work on it, and I do have some notes, and we can go through the sections and the notes that I have, what we've just discussed in the past. We can talk about those and change them if you want, or and then we'll see if we can finish it so that we can get it to the board so that they can review it. It has to go before a lawyer, the town lawyer, and then it has to go to the town meeting. So, and it's my understanding that there could be a special town meeting.
Yeah, there's some things coming up that we would like to get done before the annual town meeting, so we are looking potentially into having a special town meeting. I believe when I talked to the administrator of the process, she says like 30 days for like this has to be announced 30 days or something. So her advice that was given to me was try to get this done as soon as possible, and then once it's done, we can look at the timeline, because I don't think we've set it. I think we're still trying to figure out when we want to do it.
Okay.
And then once we have an idea, we'll see if we'll be able to get this into that special town meeting.
Okay.
And if not, it'll be ready for town meeting.
Okay. So we'll just go through the sections.
Okay.
And obviously the road committee would be changed. Anytime you see road, it would be conservation and forestry.
Is that part of what you emailed out, or is this something separate? I don't have that from what you, if you're reading through it, I'll grab it.
Yeah, in that package.
Oh, what?
I don't know if that helps, but I brought my computer for a reason. If someone wants to type it, I was able, because I got it for Sherry, to transfer the road ordinance into a Word document.
Okay.
So if you want to, I'm just going to probably need a power source. Whoever wants to do it, you can make the edits in that document, so you don't have to retype the whole thing.
Can you,
That way you could do it now during the meeting and then send it out, make the last edits, but that way you're not like retyping after writing.
okay.
So whoever wants to make those edits, you might just need to plug my computer in, but
Need a power source?
but the idea was, so then once it's done, you can just send this edited, so it's pretty much that document, just in Word, so whoever wants to, you can make the edits.
Okay.
And then that way whoever won't have to do like a, you won't have to retype it, and it should save some work. So hopefully by the time you're done here, you'll have a good rough draft and just do a quick review.
Okay. Anybody that's quick with their fingers? You want to slide over, do you want to hear it, John? You want to slide
No,
over?
yeah, so then it's a little off the format, that can be just, but that way, it's exactly this. That way, if you're just inserting words and deleting.
Yep. Yeah, let's put this,
For me to
try
try
out
out.
this, okay? Yeah, that's right.
But that way you're not taking the notes and then having someone have to go and.
Talk slow.
All right.
Thank you. So I'm gonna put this right here, and this is what we've done so far.
Okay. How do I click on things with this? There's no button.
Oh,
Are you just press on the pad?
yeah, so.
I see.
That's like you're related liquid.
Gotcha.
I'm so used to it and keep forgetting that. It took me a while to get adjusted.
Yeah,
to
the
that.
first thing that I do when I get that is to put a mouse in.
So, this is,
So we're just gonna try to blow through this thing?
yep,
Okay, so the first obvious thing is anywhere there's road committee,
right.
substitute.
So should I just, wherever it says road, just replace that with conservation and forestry?
Yes. Is there a find and replace
There sure
option?
I'm not that tech savvy.
Insert.
I just figured you're just gonna go through everything and just do it like that's how, but there's probably find and replace. Or find and, yeah.
Well, I know there's a find and replace, and so that's going to be the quickest thing to do, so let's just do that last.
Okay. So, but we know that's gonna happen.
Yeah, we had, right, so,
And the adoption,
and then, right, the date.
Those things you can get rid of.
Right, obviously,
yeah, that's gonna be,
road.
well, maybe it will adopted by, that's the town, so that's.
That will be once it passes that town meeting. That date will be added to the top.
I just did the strike through, so we
Yep.
place it there, so it's right there.
Yep. So in section 1, the road would be conservation, Yep.
Section 1, all right.
title, wait a minute.
Section A, is that similar?
Hang on. Title, this ordinance shall be known, okay, yeah, title, okay, we'll just go with title.
And so we'll do the, replace the
Yeah,
road with
okay.
conservation and forestry.
Authority, I don't know what that is, so we'll just leave that. I'm sure those are the same title and section. Purpose,
We are not working with the road commissioners, so it's just the selectmen, so you can
the board
strike.
of selectmen, yes. We'll work with board of selectmen, so take out road and commissioners and, right?
And we will, same again, will provide non-binding recommendations to strike road commissioners and leaving board of selectmen.
And I'm sorry, we're in the purpose.
Yep.
This section is just missing from here, so are we sure this is the same file? 'Cause
Should be the one, that's the one that we got from the website. The format might be off because I had to
convert it from.
convert it from a PDF to Word.
to Word.
So that formatting itself might be up, but as long as the titles are the same, does the other categories and everything? Title,
You don't
30
even have a
purpose.
section 3 kicking around?
This is totally different.
Is it?
So could I propose something?
Let's just do this on paper.
Okay.
We'll do this on paper. I have access to Adobe Pro. Is there any way we can like scan this in and email it to me? And I can just edit the PDF?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah, because that's not even close to.
Okay,
what-
I thought it was.
What she printed out.
Okay,
So Jen printed out the ordinance.
Gotcha.
That's what you're looking at in that packet.
But that's not the same as what he has on the
No.
machine.
Yeah, like that.
okay.
It's too much different.
Okay.
The purposes thing is just all.
Yeah, no, we don't.
That's titled ordinance, right, or is it titled something different?
Road ordinance, that's the file name.
Okay,
Road committee ordinance? Is that what
It
it
just
says?
says road ordinance. Oh, maybe that's,
Because I might have, there's two documents that I mean, maybe it's, sorry, this is just,
And I know in the interest of getting this done today, this would be more convenient.
oh, here, road committee.
Road committee. Oh, yeah, that's it.
There you go.
oh, that looks a lot.
Okay, all right.
There was two, because when I was trying to download them, there's a road ordinance and a road committee, so I just opened the wrong one.
Okay,
There we go.
So,
all right.
sorry.
Take two.
Second business again?
Oh, you good now?
I am, yep, okay, so we were looking at section 3.
Well, you want to go through it again, and so every place that says road, you'll strike that.
Is that advisory board only? Committee members work with the Conservation and Forestry Commissioners and Board of Selectmen to perform the duties listed below. Committee will provide non-binding recommendations to
The board of selectmen.
Board of Selectmen. So just get rid of.
Commissioners.
Road
We
commissioners
don't have
and,
commission. Yep.
Gotcha.
All right.
presumably we have all the same section 1 of Article 2,
Section 1, Article 2.
organization, structure,
Yep,
and
yep.
meetings.
Yeah, we're looking at the same thing. So
Okay. So there's nothing to change there
nothing under Section 1, correct.
Good.
of Article 2, yeah.
Oh, except for,
Oh, what about the, at the first committee meeting to be held within 30 days after town meeting? Does that apply anymore if the town meeting changed?
Yeah, that would, it's gonna probably be with, I mean, I guess you could do it, but it would have to be in, because your terms wouldn't end until June. So June 30th would be the last day of the term, and then after that, if, for example, you folks didn't want to run for re-election, like say Sherry didn't run, someone else ran, Sherry's term would go until June 30th,
okay,
if she had decided not to have run. So maybe doing it more, because town meeting used to be closer to that end of the time, so maybe if you want to adapt that, but you could also do what you folks did before, and once it's elected, you could. I think probably safe to do it closer to the 30th, because that way
Yeah.
it will be the new voting members, not previous members.
Yeah.
Because they don't have authority until they're sworn in and all that.
So does that quorum statement meet what you guys just said a minute ago, or no?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. So like, if you had a full board, then
If we had a full board, then yes, it would.
would.
So I think maybe leave it, and I can ask them about if we want to add any stipulations or anything, being like, or a majority of the seated committee members.
Right.
Because
You want to just, why don't we just, can we just add that?
yeah, you can see what they say when they do it.
Or a majority sworn in members?
Yeah. And if not, then we'll remove it once it gets reviewed.
Because they may not be seated, like Wayne's not going to be seated until the town meeting, right?
No, he's,
As soon as he's sworn in, he's good.
He's seated, okay.
yeah, so when there's not a, when it's not filled, we as the select board have the authority to appoint somebody to
Right.
finish off the term. So once he went and got sworn in, he officially became and was seated as a member to finish that term, that open term.
So, okay, one of the notes I had was to include the town forester as a voting member of the committee. So it would be under, yep, the town forester shall be a.
Just add it right in after
Yeah,
that one?
why not?
All right, like it.
Yep.
Voting member of the committee?
Right? Let's see how that flies. So then under section 2,
What do we have? There's nothing in there that's currently, other than maybe G, any other duties to be performed shall be voted on and approved in advance. But what, do we have to substitute something in there
Well,
that
we-
more closely approximates our actual duties?
We talked about putting the mission statement in there.
The mission statement is gonna be in the ordinance?
Yep.
I'm okay with it, I just don't know if is that kosher?
I don't know. I'm just reading from my notes from
Okay.
when we talked about it.
I don't know, you're gonna have to talk to him.
That may be a lawyer thing. Because
Well, again, if we don't actually have duties per se, other than oversight and recommendations, then I understand that the mission statement is good information to have, but is it actually due to go into the ordinance?
I don't think it would be, I mean, I feel like you covered that purpose, and mission statement I don't think necessarily goes into, I mean, I don't see it in this ordinance, so I don't know if, especially looking at the mission statement, work within town of acting comprehensive plan in order to help promote goals of conservation, responsible stewardship, and natural resources for open space in our town. I feel like that you could like get that in there under, like, I think kind of just like what your duties are, what you're hoping, like kind of what you're like, oh, like we'll, like, you know, open space, if there's a space to make recommendations on whether or not the committee thinks it's benefit the town to purchase a land for conservation, like I think that would cover the mission statement, but would fall under one of the like, responsibilities or goals that you're supposed to be working towards, without having to have the mission statement in there.
Do you want, or under duties, do you want to have the committee goals as our duties?
Yeah, I think that would be good.
Goals rather than,
Yeah. Instead of the mission statement.
Should change duties to goals, or just leave it as duties and we'll...
leave it as duties, and then you can just type in, insert goals here or something like that.
Okay.
Right? A, B, C, and D.
So goals are going in under section 2 duties, is what you just said?
Yeah,
Okay.
does that make sense?
Yeah.
Wayne, you all set with that?
Yeah.
That good?
Yeah.
Yep, okay. And then, under E, so we said we were gonna take out A, B, C, and D. And leave in E, F, and G.
Hey, look at that. How many goals are there?
4.
There's 4.
You should have a list of them in your packet.
I do! I'm just gonna type them out. Spelling may not be great, but...
Okay, so under E, we had conservation, research and report on any grants related to conservation, forestry, outdoor education, in conjunction with the Board of Selectmen.
Oh, I'm sorry, so...
Under E,
Yep, conservation, forestry, and outdoor education.
does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
F was gonna stay. And G was gonna stay. Good?
Mm-hmm.
And then, I think Sherry was talking about having notification of foreclosed property, but I didn't know how that was gonna, thinking about that now, how we were gonna get that information.
That sounds way more formal enough that I don't know that I would want that to be within the ordinance personally.
Yeah.
I mean, that may be something that we do, but I don't know that that's something that should go into an ordinance. That's getting real specific.
Right.
it was a note that
Yep.
I had taken. So I'll just cross it. Under regulations, the committee has no purchasing authority.
That one's okay.
No, I don't. Has no purchasing authority, period, rather than upon approval of the majority of the board of selectmen.
Well, no, I don't know that that's true, because if we were to do something like signage or whatever like that, then it's still with authority of the Board of Selectmen.
Purchasing authority?
We have no purchasing authority without the Board of Selectmen, regardless. I don't know about approval of the town. Like, for example, if we have our $250 or whatever it is that we have per year,
Right.
I mean, that's kind of under our authority for documents or copies or printing of maps
Right,
or something
right.
like that, which technically we can do without selectmen authority.
Right.
But if we were to have anything greater than that and be a project-related
So,
expenditure, that would have to be with selectmen.
but we
Has no
We wouldn't-
purchase-
well, let's just say, okay, let's say we gotta run the boundary lines on one of those pieces, right?
Uh-huh.
We make that recommendation to the board, and they take it from there. So we would have no purchasing authority anyway.
No, you're right.
Yeah. We're talking about the same thing?
So maybe you, because I agree with both. So maybe
Yeah, we're both agreeing. It's just a question of who actually makes the phone call that says go ahead. In our mind, it's the selectmen that actually make
Right.
that decision anyway.
So maybe it's something like no purchasing authority outside, I was gonna say outside of like maintenance or something, because that, you're talking about road road signage or smaller purchases that we would say, Michael, yes, you said you needed this $100 for something like that, you have to go ahead and, but it'd still be the town administrator who would make that purchase.
Right, so for example, that would be without approval of, of the Board of Selectmen, but the town meeting part would definitely would be next on that.
Yeah, that would only, because anything.
If it's within our budget,
Yeah.
then it should not have to go to town meeting, is my point.
Right.
Right. And I guess I looked at that and it was like, oh, here's a piece of land.
Oh, no, I'm not,
Yeah.
that's a given, but I'm talking about even the finer points.
Yeah. So so end that at selectmen?
Board of Selectmen.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm just saying I'm okay with it as long as you mix the and approval of
Okay.
town meeting part.
Okay. All right?
We would never spend a dime without going to the selectmen first, so therefore, if we just simply say, without authority and majority of the Board of Selectmen,
Yeah.
they can tell us no, and if they say, yeah, but it's greater purchase, we need more authority, then it would go to town meeting, but it still has to go through the selectmen first.
Okay.
So I would just get rid of and approval of town meeting.
Yep. You good with that, Wayne?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And B, again, just change the road committee to conservation forestry.
And then that last part of the last sentence, same deal. Shall be as an advisory committee and only after a majority approval vote at a conservation forestry committee meeting.
Right.
Yeah.
And C,
And C is the
same
same.
thing.
Yeah.
I've been doing that.
Get rid of road, yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing that anyway.
Section 4 looks good.
Yep.
Section 5 is good.
Well,
Well, if we don't have a vice, is that
yeah,
what you're getting at?
yeah. I guess it has been secretary.
How does that work, Daniel? Section 5, we have no vice chair.
I am not sure about the necessity of a vice chair. I mean, we can double check with that. I would, like, for me, I'd assume whoever stepped up to secretary would be the person to take on that role if you don't have that. But, you know, folks also haven't had a like, fully filled committee.
Right, right. So if we had 7, maybe there'd be enough bodies for a vice chair, but.
So I'd recommend just leave it in, and then, like, if this, I mean, right now, it's not in
Yep.
place, so you
Not
know,
really
vice chair
applicable
is
at
fine.
this point, right?
But if it is approved on agreed, then you can kind of do it at that point, unless it's decided maybe you don't need one, but
Okay.
probably better just leave it in.
Section 6, take out the prepare the meeting agenda.
Right,
That
that's
should-
more of the, that's the chair anyway, yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if that's the case, would you want to switch 4C, it says consult with secretary for preparing the meeting agenda, and just do prepare the meeting agenda, because
Oh, I see.
there's
Yep.
no need to consult with the secretary if they're not going to have any responsibility in that part.
I would take it out as chair. I would take it out.
Yeah, so just-
Consult with secretary. And just leave it, prepare the meeting agenda.
Right.
Say that one more time, Mike?
Under section 4C,
4C,
take out consult with secretary for, and change preparing to prepare.
Or just prepare the meeting agenda, yeah.
Yep. Right?
Begin preparations to prepare? No, is it too much? No, I just prepared.
prepare to prepare?
Just the way you said it, it sounded like we're preparing to prepare.
All right. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And then down to section 6B. That sounds good. C. 6C. Keep that in there.
And obtain Board of Selectmen majority approval prior to the release. Does that apply?
I would assume that that means like if you folks are gonna do like any workshops or any like educational things, that just making sure.
So that's also probably one of those keep it in, should we ever have the breadth and knowledge and participation to do something that might apply to?
Yeah, I would think so.
Okay. All right.
That is one of your goals, is to have some like informational stuff and just kind of making sure you have all the information and stuff. And again, that's good, you can send that out or advertise it or something like that.
And that one line is not in here. The 6C.
6C.
So I haven't, that was the one we were just talking about, right? Leaving that in?
Yeah, yeah.
And so I haven't, like, double checked everything line for line. That's the only one I've so far seen that hasn't come up.
Okay.
But just FYI, we might need to double check this before whatever gets released, because that one thing is
So you're not seeing a section 6C?
correct. I'm
Okay,
adding it right now.
gotcha.
Well, you shouldn't have C anyways for 6, because you got rid of prepare the meeting agenda, should only be A and B. Because you had 3, you got rid of 1, so you should only have A and B under secretary.
But what he's saying, it wasn't in this.
Yeah, but that dialogue of what this says for under C does not exist in your
Yeah,
document.
yeah, I heard that, but I was just, so yeah, we'll double check that.
There will only be an A and a B, but it needs to be, B and C will become A and B.
Mhm.
But I'm sorry, am I adding that C line back into this document
Hang on.
As B, yeah.
as B? I missed a couple steps.
Hang on. No, wait. So A, prepare the minutes. B is what was C. You just copied that all over again.
Oh, so I am. Okay, so
Yeah.
somebody already took care of this. Even better.
Yeah.
I just don't read. All right, my
That's
reading
okay.
comprehension's always been very low.
It's all right.
Well, you're in good company.
All right. Section 7, that's just
Yep.
the normal verbiage. Legal status,
And then the only thing under Article 3 would be, probably be whenever a special town, or whenever this is decided with a special town meeting, regular town meeting, that the date,
Yeah,
but everything else is pretty.
so, road committee would be changed to conservation and forestry.
And I did find a place.
Oh, yeah, good.
Yeah, they showed me.
Sweet.
Oh, well, you did more in that time than I did. Never learned how to do that.
Well, let me show you before we close the laptop back up.
Yeah, probably helpful. Yeah. The work I have to do.
So should I just highlight this date so we?
Yeah, just highlight it and that, and honestly, you could just delete it and do insert date there or something so they kind of have an
Yeah,
idea.
we can just type in insert date.
Oh, I see. Right. I thought there was some insert date function that, I
No,
was like, oh, I'm gonna learn something too. No, not today.
no, not for me. I'm like one of the millennials who like, not young enough that technology comes to me easily, but just young enough that I know there's easier ways to do things, just not how to do
If I could reach them, this would be awesome. Yeah.
All right, does that about do it?
To me, it does, yep.
Yeah, that was painless.
Well, not clear to this point.
Next time, you can,
When it's done,
You weren't here for the first conversation, there were 17 conversations. So I would entertain a motion to accept this,
the road committee ordinance as amended to become our conservation and forestry committee ordinance.
I don't think you have to say. You can just say your draft of a conservation forestry ordinance.
okay,
I think using the road committee is no different than using a template as a guidance.
so Steve, you're making that motion?
Yeah, do you want the more, I'm gonna get it wrong now, since it's
Just
different than what I said. I'd like to make a motion to
Approve the draft.
approve and/or the draft version of our conservation and forestry committee ordinance.
And, does that make sense?
Does for me, yeah.
And somehow say, send it to the board of selectmen.
And forward to selectmen for approval.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to say it again?
No, you just might want to write it down.
Okay.
Also, for that vote, I would recommend that you keep when you vote, like an actual number vote, so that one you send it, you can say that it was recommended having the official tallies.
3 to
Yeah.
0.
Yeah. For things like that, that are going to send to the select boards, and also for recommendations, having those numbers
Sure,
will be
yeah.
beneficial too. So the select board will be like, oh wait, like they unanimously approved it, or it's like, hey, it's 4-2. Why?
Right.
Why? Where was the discussion there? Kind of gives us a little bit of indication of kind of direction of conversation.
We need a second?
I second.
Great.
I'm waiting for, you're the one that calls for the vote now, yes?
Yeah, we all set?
Yeah.
All those in favor?
I
3 to 0. Awesome. Whew. You know how long we've been working on that? You all set, Steve?
Yep.
Okay. So,
We'll find out when you read it if I got it.
So on the new business, I've talked to Dan about this. There's a piece of property for sale adjacent to the Wilson Lake Boat Launch. And if you've ever been to the Wilson Lake Boat Launch, the road goes like this, and the boat launch is kind of like this. So you don't back in square to the road. You kind of go parallel to the road and swing in. The corner of the parcel for sale is in your travel lane for the boat launch. The parcel is not buildable. It's probably a tenth or two of an acre. It has frontage on Wilson Lake. It's kind of like a triangle and long frontage around that curve on Young's Ridge Road. So it's a triangle with one corner kind of in the where you would have to back your trailer in. So I bring that to the committee's attention because it could affect, if somebody buys that and puts up a fence, that effectively blocks access to the boat launch. So I bring that to the committee's attention. One, for, your information. Two, is it something that this committee would want to advise the Board of Selectmen to look into some type of action?
So for clarification, is the property, small though it may be, currently being used in some manner by the boat launch people?
Well, other than you back over the corner of the lot.
So your answer is yes?
Yes.
Okay, so should something happen, the boat launch ability would become worse than it is now?
Right.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
And then parking along Young's Ridge Road, if you're familiar with that curve right there, people park on the shoulder, and the shoulder is part of that parcel for sale, because the road right away doesn't extend all the way to the edge of the gravel where people park. So a couple of things is it would limit use of the boat launch by the public. And if that's the case, the state, which now stocks Wilson Lake with fish every year, twice a year, if that public access was eliminated, they wouldn't do any more fish stocking.
Is it a state boat ramp?
Well, it's owned by the town. It's town land.
Okay.
But if there's no public right-of-way to the lake, any lake, they'll stop stocking.
All right.
Okay. So, and it would, the other thing that happens, the boat launch goes like this, but there's a clear area straight ahead that people use for swimming and, they'll stand in the water and fish, they launch kayaks, that kind of thing. So it is used, that land is being used now by the public. So if we're going to do this type of recommendation to the board, it should be aligned with either our mission statement and or our committee goals.
How many acres is it?
0.1, 0.2,
What's it selling for?
$84,000.
Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, that's, the last time I looked at the listing, that's what it was. And I haven't looked in 3 or 4 days, so
How long has it been up for sale?
a couple of months now.
Do you know for a fact that it is not buildable?
Yep,
You've talked to code?
no, but it's being advertised as
No,
unbuildable.
that doesn't count.
If you look at it, Stephen,
No, I agree with you. What I'm saying is
It's not-
that there's a bunch of grandfathered lots that if code previously had authorization to do so, we want to make sure that that, in fact,
I don't see, it's not even 100 feet deep.
I get it.
I know,
Is
but
there a minimum size lot to build on in Acton?
Yeah, but again, there are certain lots that have been grandfathered, so I don't want to just go by current policy of what is called a buildable lot, because that is essentially, or could be, someone is thinking that it's buildable, even though it might not be, and if you're going to open into a negotiation of what the price is worth, you need to know whether or not it is or it isn't.
okay, so that's I think if we make a recommendation to the board,
Mhm.
then it's on them to determine, you know, what it's about, or what the town wants to pay for it if they want to buy it.
Right.
And then if it's buildable, then, you know, that may change things. But
Right.
I would assume if it was buildable, it'd be for a lot more money than that.
Right.
And they would be advertised as a buildable lot.
Right, no, I'm in agreement with you, I'm just saying the
No, and
price is obviously part of that,
Right.
and it's, you know what I mean?
yeah, and it's part of the parcel across the street.
Oh,
So as you
It's
go,
part of the parcel, like literally the same map and lot number?
I don't know about that, but same owner,
Okay,
that parcel was sold 3 or 4 years ago. And the parcel included the frontage on Wilson Lake and included frontage on Horn Pond.
is it an association?
I'm sorry?
Is it an association?
No. So, I guess this is kind of a bellwether.
right, you're asking for the larger design that the committee and the town might have for this property to help improve boat access and to formalize the use that has been so far unauthorized use of this land
Right,
by boat launch people.
right.
So the goal makes sense. Then the question is it something that we would do, and could we, and or is it even on the table?
Right.
And then you talk about it being, what's the number?
I wouldn't even get into the number part.
No, I get it, I get it.
That's-
No, we're on the same page, I got
Yeah.
you. This was just for my clarification. If it is not at risk for, if it's not at risk for becoming something else or losing its use, then that's part of the metric of whether the town would elect to buy it or not, perhaps.
I think if you went back, the old Wilson farm
Mhm.
owned from Horn Pond over to Wilson Lake,
Mhm.
down the North Shore of Wilson Lake to Eagle Road. And it was quite a big piece of ground.
Gotcha.
And now it's been chunked up
Mhm.
considerably. But and what I think about is the owner of the piece, the big piece, and then he owns on Horn Pond also. And it was a tiny little strip along New Bridge Road, and people had been using it, and he put a dock in so he could use it, and people were using the dock, so he put up a fence.
And then the fence, right, yeah.
So if you've been down New Bridge Road, you've seen that
The same
fence.
thing could be possibly happening.
Exactly.
Right, I get you, yep.
Okay. So I just bring it to the attention of the committee, if we want to take action, which would be maybe to recommend to the board that they look into this because of these reasons that are aligned with our goals. That make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no issue with looking into it and finding out, you know, what may or may not be happening, what it could happen with it, what would then, I mean, to the town's point of view, for example, again, this is way down the line, but for example, if people are parking on this property and it's private property, but it's being accessed and used as an extension of the town property, does the lawyer have something to say about that?
See that?
All those things are, like I said, all of those things are just part of contact way down the
And
line.
that's, in my view,
That's
that's
the-
his job.
Right. No, I understand the scenario is all I'm looking for.
Yeah.
This isn't a purchase for like, hey, let's build a boat launch on Wilson. We don't have one.
Right,
This is a more, again, formalizing and assuring that what we have is of continued use
right.
and formalizing it so it doesn't, you know, get broken up or become of less use.
Yeah, years ago, probably in the 80s, there was another boat launch on Hawk Road, which is on the other side of Wilson Lake. And the public used that to launch their boats, because the one on Young's Ridge Road wasn't really developed. And it got to the point where so many people were using it, the owners of that right-of-way said, no, it's only for Hawk Road owners only.
Right, I know what you mean. Yep.
So, yeah, you know, so the public can't use that anymore. So they developed that one on Young's Ridge Road, put in the cement pads that you could back down on. It ain't great, but it's,
You don't happen to know when or how that came to be, was it always town property?
I don't think
Town
so.
purchased
I
it?
think that was purchased along with a right-of-way or land either side of the stream that runs from Wilson Lake to Horn Pond. Because if you look at the tax maps, you could see the piece of land follows the outlet stream down to Horn Pond. So the town owns all the way to Horn Pond, from Wilson to Horn Pond, along that strip, like, I don't know, 25, 50 feet on either side of that street. And that included across the street where the boat launch is. That's why the boat launch was put there, I think.
So it didn't have to be purchased from someone private at the time?
Well, that strip did.
Oh, the strip did, okay.
Right. And I don't know if it was the Wilson heirs or the owner of that piece that's selling the frontage on Wilson.
Yeah, just for context, that's all. Yep, I get you.
Because we always used to go over the Hawk Road, launch the boats, and then it got abused.
Right.
Well, it's the job of the selectmen to have them gift us that property.
Well, and that's, see, that's where I feel this committee, that's a task of this committee, is to recommend to the selectmen,
Right.
look into this because it affects the public.
Right.
And, you know, I am a landowner on Wilson Lake and I use it, you know, so, I use the boat launch. I can't launch off the frontage I have, so,
Right.
so, complete
I got
transparency here, so.
Okay, so minutes wise, I'm just talking about this discussion and
This is-
prefacing of the lot at this point.
So, yeah, this is new ground for us, Wayne.
Yeah.
You know, we're kind of feeling our way through and you know, how should we approach this? Or, okay, is this something we want to approach? And two, if it is, then how do we do it?
That is rhetorical, isn't it?
Nope.
Okay. Well, it's definitely something that would have to be kicked upstairs
Well,
as we
okay.
go.
That's right.
So I'm just saying, as far, so yes, we, certainly things like this have come up and gone directly to the selectmen before this committee had legs or
Of
something
course.
to that effect.
Yeah.
But this does seem to me to be part of, for the lack of a better term, I'll call our purview, to give a recommendation toward this. I could see the selectmen saying, you know, you guys help with a little homework or look it up and talk to code or whatever, and then bring us back a recommendation. So I do see us as being part of this.
Right.
And my thought was to get the ball rolling, should we
Make a recommendation.
make a recommendation to the board? Even if it's just as simple as, please, we recommend that you look into this because it meets
One of our goals.
goal number 4,
Right.
formally identify areas to conserve.
Right.
And it, we're promoting the goals of conservation and responsible stewardship. Sound good?
Yeah, I think.
Yes.
I agree.
Okay, so, so I think we're good with number 1. We're gonna do something. Number two is what are we gonna recommend to the board? And maybe something along those lines.
Well, again, I'm writing down that, goal number 4 applies to this, and therefore, we should at least be looking into it in order to make a recommendation. Whether we're there or not remains to be seen, I suppose.
I think this is kind of time sensitive. It's been on the market for a couple of months. And if anything, the board could say,
The board could just, and the board is likely to just kick it back and say, if our recommendation currently is to have the selectmen essentially look into it, that's all well and good, but they could just say, hey, by the way, give us a proposal on what you would do. I don't know this.
I think if we just lend support to the notion that the board should look into this, and if they do, they can say, well, the Conservation and Forestry Committee said, agreed with us.
Right, okay. So are you specifically looking for a motion to now recommend that the selectmen look into this
Yes.
property?
I think that's because of,
No, I get you.
it aligns with goal number 4
Right.
and part of our mission statement.
Okay. You're looking at me again? Okay.
So I can make I'll make that motion.
Okay, go for it, the way you want it.
You just said it.
Committee
And
recommends
it's
to,
to the board that the parcel on Youngs Ridge Road adjacent to the boat launch
yep,
be explored or
researched,
evaluated, maybe?
evaluated.
To see if it's buildable or grandfathered in, or,
I think that.
That's a little bit down the line, but yeah.
Yeah. We just want to.
We just want to bring it to attention at this point, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have our support. If the board decides to go forward, you have, the support of the Conservation Committee.
okay, yeah.
So we're calling the verb evaluated, but are we putting like evaluated for something by the selectmen?
Action or.
Would they need more of an explanation? Like, if this is sold and fenced off, the boat ramp would be useless?
Well, but that won't be part of this motion though,
Oh,
correctly. I'm saying the motion right now is to bring it to the selectmen and say, we would like you to look into this with us or above us or whatever
Right.
for
It sounds,
conservation or something.
it sounds like you want us to like you said, evaluate the merits of
Merit, that's a good word, yeah.
preserving or the options in regards to the purchase of this land. Like you want us to look into, does it merit us to have concern that we should consider our options? It's kind of, it sounds like that. You want to say, hey, this is something that's a concern. We recommend the board look into it to see what the impacts of this piece being for sale could be.
I mean, they may say, we'll see if we can buy 20 feet,
Right.
so that the boat launch is unrestricted, use is unrestricted.
Okay, well,
That's up to them.
okay, we're back to the motion, yeah.
Okay.
So I've stopped at evaluated, parcel on Youngs Ridge Road adjacent to the boat launch be evaluated what?
For possible action by the town?
Yeah, I think that's broad enough, and
What's that?
I think that's broad enough and gives us a little bit.
Committee recommends to the select board that the parcel or a parcel, however you want to call that, on Youngs Ridge Road adjacent to the boat launch be evaluated for action by the town.
Yeah.
This is based on I think we ought to include in that, this is based on committee goals and mission statement. Is that, our recommendation is based on the committee goals and mission statement.
Does that actually become part of the motion?
Yep, I would say so.
As, must be evaluated for action by the town.
This recommendation is based on
Mission statement
yes,
and goal number 4.
yes. Based on or supported by might be better. Not based on that, supported by, this action is supported by the committee's mission statement and goals.
You want that back to you?
Yeah, which please?
Committee recommends to the select board that a or the parcel on Young's Ridge Road adjacent to the boat launch be evaluated for action by the town. Recommendations based on mission statement.
This recommendation is based on,
Recommendation based on mission statement and goal number 4.
Right.
Supported by, recommendation
Yeah.
supported by mission statement and goal number 4.
right, okay?
I
And
second.
if they want to get into the nitty gritty, we can talk about, loss of,
Yeah, well, we're going to have to provide that later, but that doesn't have to be part of this motion, obviously.
so speed.
So I've seconded.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. All right, does that sound good? Yeah. Anything else on the new business?
No. Would you want to say anything about the walk that we had? That was previous to or after the last meeting that we had? I'm trying to remember.
It was previous to,
So we
because I
already
made
had-
the walk and then I didn't make that next meeting and then we didn't have a meeting, so it was a while ago. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was very informative. I thought you did a great job kind of explaining and breaking down different areas. I thought it was really cool. I knew nothing about that piece of property. That's one of my favorite parts about being on this committee, is a liaison for this committee. I've learned so much. I didn't know about the town farm or any of that history as a
Isn't that
history
cool?
nerd.
Isn't that
I
cool?
thought that was really exciting, and you were able to kind of put all that out, and the cemetery kind of that we were able
You're
to
looking
find.
That's good.
I thought it was a really great opportunity to see it, and I know we exchanged ideas of think of what you want to do with the piece of property. I know one of the things that I talked about was having that historical aspect, maybe seeing if that's something further down the line the Historical Society could
Yeah.
join you folks on, like you said, having a placard or something. I think there's a lot of great potential there, and I think it was just really cool to be able to get up there. My dad knew about it. I guess he's taking a bunch of walks down there.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Cool.
He when I came back and I told him about it, he's like, "Oh yeah, I used to take walks up there and all this stuff." But I think not many people know about it either.
Right.
So I really appreciated your expertise.
And when the time comes that we look to do something, for Wayne here too, there's a parcel of property that we just walked that the town owns. It has a forest management plan on it. It used to be the old town farm where if you didn't have a place to live, you would go work and live on this town farm. And we have some old records where it had been hayed on certain dates, and there's foundations, wells, the forest, some wildlife habitat of high significance, like some wetland areas that have significance out there. So the parcel of property, in my mind, as town forester, is a pretty special one that the town should keep, and in my mind, should manage and promote in some manner. So part of what we've had as discussions in the past are, well, how do we go about doing that? And that has brought about all of these discussions and things, and we're now looking to try to say, how do we go about making these recommendations? And we've had enough turnover in the committee that every time we end up trying to recommend something, 3/4 of the people in the committee have never been there or know anything about it, so aren't comfortable recommending something. So I guess what I'm getting at is similar to this Hebo walk that we have looking at on the 13th.
Yeah.
It's the same sort of a walk that we have. I have done a forestry plan on this lot as well, back in time. And we're just trying to familiarize the committee members and then therefore the townspeople of here's what we have as an asset and should we or could we or what would we do with these pieces. Similar to some of the other properties that the town has, whether it be Goat Hill or Mary Grant across the street or something like that.
And that might be something to consider. I know our comprehensive plan is not up to date, 2005, I think. But I don't know, again, I don't know the purview and discussion, but I don't know, maybe doing a survey or something, asking townspeople, what would you like to see on a piece of property? Do you want to see more walking trails? Do you want to see, I don't know, and that's something that can get ideas and that the committee can have records of, so that when those discussions do come up, you say, well, these are some of the top options and choices. Is this something that we could potentially look into and propose to the select board to say, hey, this is some of the people we're thinking about, this is something we think could be done on this property?
I think that's a great,
No, that's a good idea. I hadn't, if the selectmen are always going to be asking us and have asked us in the past, do we or do we not have a consensus on what the townspeople might like over and above what the committee thinks should be done, I think that would definitely move the needle to you guys if we already had some level of input.
And it might also help with kind of that turnover where it's like, you know, say two of you decided, no, we did our job, we got the ordinance, we want to be done with this, and two new people came on, you'd still have that data that now to say, well, this is kind of what the majority of people were thinking, these are the 2 or 3 ideas that we're just going to kind of stick to looking into. So it would help kind of with that a little bit too, hopefully.
I think that's a great item for an agenda.
Yeah, no, seriously. So like, how would that happen?
Yeah, so what are, in my mind, what are the next steps for the town farm lot or the Hebo lot? And, you know, that's something that we can kick around as a committee and might be a good.
Is that something that should end up in this batch of minutes as well? Or just discuss about, put that under new business that we've talked about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Even if you get like the elementary school, the children there,
Yep,
let them know about it.
Yep.
Get their thoughts, because they're the next generation.
sure.
And they, you know, they usually come up with some pretty good stuff.
Yeah, they do.
You know, you see around the country, you know, they get involved with the states for designing flags or new sayings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's usually the kids that come up with the best
Yeah.
ideas.
I've got a story for that one for you. No, not the school, it's a whole separate, it's a forestry joke.
That's good. That's a good idea.
Okay, I'm just making a note of that discussion to be had and
And that
spitball
will lead
within the new business later, yeah.
So, which brings us to number 8, which is the next meeting for September 3rd. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be available that day. So, we don't have a secretary, so we don't have somebody.
And you don't have a vice chair either. I mean, you could always just do what you folks have done in the past, which is just move it back to the second week. The 10th, are you available the 10th, that Tuesday?
I think so.
Because you've done that before, and it
Yeah,
won't be a problem because it's further away, so you won't have a concern about having the 7-day notice or whatever that requirement is.
Yeah, I can do the 10th. I can ask if it's available.
that's fine by me. Is there, again, it's still a Tuesday at 6 o'clock.
That's fine.
Okay.
So I'll ask Jen if the 10th is. You know, I almost think, when does the finance committee meet?
1 and 5 months. I mean, I don't think they've started meeting yet, but I think they're probably, we're starting to get into the, talking about the budget season and everything like that. Let's check that on the calendar.
Hang on. I'll come here with this, okay. So the 8th,
The calendar.
no, nothing in September that I see.
So yeah, if you probably sooner reach out to John, the better the chance.
I can do that tomorrow. I'll ask her tomorrow if the 10th is.
I'm good for the 10th.
And I'm good.
Good, good, okay. And Kelly seemed to be good with the 10th, with Tuesdays anyways, but she's pretty busy. All right,
Gotcha.
anything else?
I'm good.
Motion to adjourn,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you so much.